Hey, what's up? My name's OG Smurf826. I'm part of the mini Motorways community, I guess we would say, on the subreddit. Decided, make a video to help you guys out because most of the time you guys are asking for assistance and stuff, and it's mostly, someone just posts a photo, what they're doing, or what they've done, and people are asking for help. So I decided, why not just make a video, put it on this Reddit, the subreddit, so people can sort of like see someone's process. I'm not saying I'm the best mini motorways player out here, but I I'm just gonna run through my scores so people can see. I guess some people will call us the pros. I wouldn't call myself a pro. I just like the game. It's a puzzle game, and I'm also a civil engineer, so I guess that gives me a little bit of a cheat code with this. But I'm just gonna run through my scores real quick, and I'm gonna play the new map, Reykjavik, fresh, so you guys can see the process from like ground up, but like not even knowing a map. Also, I'm playing on PC. That may make it a little bit easier for me than people on mobile. Hmm. 1 second. I didn't know I did that good. Where am I? Well, I'll be damned. Wait, just back to the. There we go. Alright, here we are in Reykjavik. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's like Iceland, I think. But this is my first time playing it. See, there's a zero. So I've never played it. Just gonna try to go through all the techniques you hear about, or that a lot of us say when playing the game. Just fresh off the freshness. I really hope this goes well. I really do. All right, so we're starting with a white, and we start with two stoplights and some 30 roads. All right, and I guess the biggest thing I want to say to start out, I'm trying to pause the game whenever I'm actually speaking, just for me to keep track, me to make it better for you all whenever I'm saying something. And then also, biggest thing to go through is that there's no real science to how many I call them houses are needed per building, but because the game it sort of tries to equally distribute the need for buildings with how many buildings there are. It tries to equally distribute them. It's sort of like you just need to get this many houses going. I mean, this many cars to each building per day. But I'm just gonna get this going. You're gonna see a lot of fast forwarding probably, but I will stop and pause like when I'm talking to explain what I'm doing. And every time the weekends, I'll explain why I'm picking something. All right, traffic lights versus roundabouts. Hmm. I would say there's positives and negatives to each. I would say I'm going to pick a roundabout because I already have two stoplights. I will say roundabouts a little bit more effective when it's either just one or two colors going through it. makes it easier. Traffic lights is better for multiple colors. They both have their pluses and minuses, but one thing to know about roundabouts, when you delete or add a roundabout, it sort of takes probably, depending on how many cars you have stockpiled, it can take like 5 to, I've seen it take over a minute for me for everything to readjust to the roundabout being there or being deleted. Traffic light is nice and quick to add them in and take them out. All right, now a somewhat of a problem has arisen. You're about to see me go through the process that everyone talks about on here with segregation. I'll explain. I'll explain it further when it sort of gets more to a point where segregation is really needed. But you're gonna see me edit the routes to basically sort of prioritize a certain amount of houses going to each building to make the route more optimal for the pink to get where it needs to be. All right, had it a little delete and add because this building here came a little unexpectedly. I was going to use that as a route, but I'll figure that out later. All right, roundabout versus the bridge. Okay, typically I don't know the full layout of this map, but probably going to use the bridge, or I am going to use the bridge to get the pinks segregated around the peninsula. Now I'm going to have this pause and slow down so you guys can see what people talk about when they say segregation. Okay, yeah, this is like a perfect setup right here. Perfect setup right here. Well, not perfect, but easy way for you guys to see what people are talking about with segregation. All right, so here's what's going to happen. All right, so now segregating, putting the whites on their own route, and putting those pinks together. And I'm gonna use that bridge I just got. All of these are going on their own route. And also trying to make the routes as short slash efficient as possible for to not waste tiles, but this is what people are talking about when they say segregation. All the whites, even though there's still pink in here, all the whites that are going from here to here on their own route on their own, all the pinks on their own route on their own. All right, this is interesting right here. So, hmm, 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 hmm. I have to make a call here. There's really only one way for me to connect this. Sometimes you just got to connect things out of pure, how would I say it? Just pure need and necessity. If I get another bridge, I will segregate the whites to make this a better situation. Just have them come across here, across the water. That'll be my next step. So you sort of got to plan ahead something, even though you don't know what you're gonna get at week's end. Sometimes you got to have an idea what you're already gonna do. All right, and like I said earlier, looking for that bridge for segregation. Got the bridge. Gonna use it, apply it. All right, here's another thing to talk about. I know everybody talks about segregation, and we're not in the 1960s. Relax. But when people talk about segregation, it's about splitting the routes to make them sort of more optimal. Because like here, I really can't do anything to make the pink and green not have to be on the same route, but I will cut it off so that this route here is purely just these here. It's all this. It's just all one route and broken and segregated away from everything else. end of the week. For me, almost any opportunity I get, I always pick a motorway. I mean, I haven't fully analyzed it, but from in my experience of playing, basically motor, of course, motorways allow you to jump over everything, make easily direct routes. But also, from all my time playing the game, it seems like also on a motorway, the cars move twice as fast. It helps with a lot of optimization, makes routes easier, and allows you to, where you might use a roundabout, to just overskip it so there's no really overlap of roads. Because roundabouts and stoplights, they gotta account for the other cars crossing, makes some problems, but always go for a motorway when you can. Alright, traffic light versus roundabout. This situation getting a little late in the game. Things are looking like they might get a little crowded. So I'm going to add. Well, I already have the traffic lights that I have not used yet. Traffic lights also benefit for them versus roundabouts. You don't need as much space. You don't. But I will probably end up using some traffic lights at some point. But I'm going to add in one more roundabout. I'm getting a good feeling. Alright. Well, it's not happening on a large scale, but on a small scale, it's something to pay attention to in terms of knowing when you may need to change your routes slash optimize your routes. Down here with the pinks, whenever you see basically between your building and your houses that all the cars are out, like all the cars out that could be going to that building, you want to start looking to see, hey, how can I change things now to make it so that when every time a dot pops up for demand, there's always still a car inside the house. Because once it's already all out, that's when you know it's going to start adding up. Then you're going to get the big teardrop that starts counting down. You want to fix it before it gets there. Which here, I'm going to drag this out here just to add more pinks. Even though it's an extremely long route, I'll end up fixing it later because I already have a motorway stored away for situations that I need to fix later down the road. But just be aware of that. Always try to keep track of how many cars are out. Well, if all your cars are out in order to go to a route. Similar here with the greens. I'm waiting for some more to pop up, hopefully, so now I can just put them on here, and this won't be an issue. Once again, motorway comes up, I'm gonna take it. And see, motorways give you less roadways than others, but most of the time you stack up the motorways, so then you get to a point where once you actually use a motorway, you can delete a lot of roadway and make up for the the extra 10. See, right there, this is what I was talking about. Well, the one I was hoping for. So this should be good for a while moving forward. Alright, you can already see the map's getting a little crowded. I mean, I have two roundabouts stored up, but probably won't get to use them. So I'm definitely going to go to traffic light. Now these, the double buildings, double areas, I I tend to personally just call them airports. These ones can be a little tricky at times as far as knowing which way to make them go, to make all your cars go in and out. I tend to be okay with using having cars come in one side and come out the other side. But when I have them come in one side and go out the other side, I tend to make sure this ramp coming in is probably at least 3 to 4 road lengths before it breaks off to separate between sections of houses. It may come up later, but that's just personally for me, just in case it doesn't happen, just so I could get that information out there. And I will loop this in over here, but I will make these two face this way so they come a little bit quicker. Oh. And also with these airports, double space, a big thing you want to avoid, because like I do want this purple to connect to service here optimally. You want to avoid having anything being routed through here just because of the way things stack and work inside of here with the cars actually will pile up and interfere with cars being able to get in and out of the spaces. So try to avoid it, route it around it if you can. I know it seems like access a little bit of waste, but in the long run it pays off a lot better. All right. The reason I just separated this off is that also anywhere a house connects to, the cars do slow down just a little bit to make the route just a little bit less efficient. At every house entry point, at every intersection, the cars do slow down a little bit, which is also one of the benefits of the stoplights. That if a stoplight's green, the cars don't slow down at all. Uh, Here, think I'm gonna go stoplight. Well, you know what? I'm gonna add in a roundabout because I think I have one use with some of these whites down here in this area. They're gonna look clogged up. That might could use a roundabout's help. But first thing, these new blues have come up. I gotta figure out a way to get them from here to here, and also satisfy these greens. So I have a cluster here of greens that are really just only servicing this here. Probably way more needed, more there than is actually needed. But gotta get these blues across. So let's feed them all into here. But this is a little bit crowded, so let's see. Yeah, round about here. Gives things a little bit better leeway to move around. Things get a little clogged because when you have a few intersections very close together, everything clogs up. So putting this here will help alleviate a lot of that because that would be one, two, three intersections, and that would just cause a decent amount of mayhem. Well, it would be four because I'm about to have to make this come off here in order to service these two here. And the first thing I'm going to look at is this route too long? And what I mean by too long is I don't want all of my cars to be out trying to come here. I want to make sure the first car can get all the way from here to here and back before being called again. Well, this extra house helps. Probably won't be a problem now. And also, I don't know if you guys saw it out in editing, slow it down so you guys can see. And I'll put, the speed everything's moving at on screen so you guys can see it. But it took a while for everything to load in for these cars to come out to take in this roundabout that I was talking about earlier. And of course, stacking up another motorway. Probably in a little bit. I could probably hold off until next week before I have to start using motorways to sort of wrap up some of these routes and make things work better. All right, here I'm stopping because all these greens are adding up, which means now it's time to do something. All right, so all my green cards are out. Means I need to figure out which routes to put greens into, because I could add some of these greens in here to this route, but if I just put a motorway here and connected it into here somewhere, also the problem that arises will be, yes, these will start going from here to feed here, here, and here, but also these greens here will try to connect to that route and come all the way around and connect into here. And that's something also with segregation. It's making sure you really separate even just clusters of colors, all using the same routes, making sure you don't cross over a route and having cars go extremely long routes wrapping around. Let's say let's say I wanted the pinks here to help out over here. If this was a lot more and I didn't have these here. Also, something that would happen would be this pink here, this house here, sometimes would take that motorway jump here to come all the way back around here to feed this one here. That is something that happens if you don't pay attention. But let me figure out what I'm going to do with these greens. I have one extra greenhouse that can help feed inside the system. But what I need to do is get one, probably take this green here, immediately feed into here, then figure out a way to disconnect everything else from here. Probably the best route for me is going to be to use my motorway here, take it from here to here, then all of this is broken off, then that actually, I'm just going to break off this whole section here. This whole section here is going to be separated. It's going to have this purple feeding this alone. And also when you're doing this to break off routes, it can take a little while before all the houses align that you want to be aligned. So we're going to go here, keep reusing these roads. So I'm not wasting roads to run out. That's something that can happen sometimes in later stages of the game that you might need to do just to make sure to run out of roads. Let's connect this house here. Well, let's see. Let's turn that up while I'm talking. And just, let's just get this one out of the way early. Mold this one into this fold. Then I'll route this around here. Sometimes deleting is not as easy as it is. That's why using the pause function. Use it. Use it, use it, use it. All right. So now we're putting this into here. And this all is one good gang. Putting this motorway here. Putting that there. It'll take a while for the system to work itself out. And with that being that, honestly, I get rid of that there. I'm gonna need to solve this problem in here as well too. Things are getting jammed in there as well. So my idea here is just get a little distance between these intersections. So everything's just flowing there. This should be fine how it is now. And let me make it run slow. Reconnect. Oh, that's gone. Upscale to a circle. There's enough space. With that being a circle now, these here aren't going to be as efficient. But here's the thing. I'm going to want to reconnect it here. Just so these can go here. Set on these two there, there. Let's reestablish that roundabout. Let's see how this works out. Alright, since I don't have one, I'm gonna add a bridge. Wasn't really looking around the map for where I could use a bridge, but it's gonna come in helpful. Something's gonna need to get rerouted around the outside. That could probably help out with a lot. Pausing here to make this a little bit more efficient. So there's less stops on the route. This was about 4 different times every car would have to stop. So now I'm just making it a quick turn off so all of them keep flowing and going. Well, actually, you have to access spaces. Sometimes using access roadways is a little bit of a benefit. So now it's just really one intersection. So I'll keep moving a little bit faster. Let me get rid of this extra road. Let's see. This really is the only problem currently. We'll see, I might have to use my motorway, but I'm pretty sure give a little bit of time to run itself out. Everything should be a little bit better. Of course, I'm choosing the motorway. Like earlier, I said let it run itself out. Now, being around 3 dots versus earlier was a little bit over here, close to filling up. Sometimes you just gotta let it work itself out. You gotta trust your process. Alright, we got roundabouts, we got stoplights. Sometimes you get to a point in the game where you're really not looking for too much benefit from the items you get to select. You can get to a point where it's really you just adding road tiles. Alright, I'm gonna make a change over here. This keeps adding, building itself up. I'm gonna work on this change over here as well. So, thinking of a better route. Because not too much demand is here. I'm really only dealing with these two here that are coming on this side. So there's not gonna be too much interference, hopefully. So here's what I'm gonna do. Instead of making that route, this much longer and having to wrap around, going to try to make this route just a little bit shorter. A little bit shorter, a little bit better. Let me see which one of these actually clips off better. Have it just come perfectly like that. And then also just have this come in right there. Hopefully that takes off enough spaces. It makes this just a little bit quicker so that this starts circling back down as it was before. I tried to work that out, but sometimes it's alright to just abandon the plan. Now these two over here getting crowded, have a plan for those as well. Gonna do a temporary bridge off using this motorway here. Try to make sure all these guys here are going directly there. Then it's probably a little bit overdue, but it's time to break this off here. But what I'm going to do before initially breaking these off here to make these go here, and I'll probably use this bridge to make one connecting loop here to segregate and separate all of the blues. I'm going to do this here. I'm going to disconnect here temporarily and use my extra motorway to just make these three go here to satisfy all the need here without trying to go anywhere else. Then I'm going to let this filter itself down and then disconnect this roadway and set things up how I actually want it to be over here. And now, just because this didn't work out over here, it's going to immediately try to make this route as short as possible. First, I'm going to disconnect here so that these aren't trying to go around here, then make it there. Then let this filter itself down, then connect those in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, that was an accident. Let's see. I can. There we go. Get that there. Yeah, the board things run out on me. Motorway, of course. Yep, there we are there. Alright, now the purples and the greens are in here. I already got a plan here. Now let's see. What's really interfering here is the whites. Well, not really the whites. Let's see. Let's just delete there. Make this route quicker from here to here. Having to avoid all the pinks, all the whites. Goes its own route. Let's add in. Do need more greens in this area just to deal with the extra purples coming in. I'm gonna add a purple inside of there by getting this inside of here, looping that around there, keeping that intact. Now, I can use the blues to build the bridge that I was planning to build, but still have the motorway. So, and since I'm not gonna be able to finagle that right around there, because that would interfere and connect too many things. If I try to go around this way to make the green happen, but I can add one more purple in there. Yep, that purple connects into there. Get rid of that there. That also causes interference with them. This basically be an intersection right outside of there. Now the question is, how can I get a few more greens into here? Let's add these guys into there. Put those immediately there. Now, which aspect here did I not complete? Oh. At this point, late game is nothing but roadways that I have added on. No, she stays alive. Yep. An idea spawned on me of how to help myself out with this green situation. Alright. This is just 3 versus this almost infinite stack of 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not counting right now, but we'll take this away. So leave this connected until these blues basically disappear themselves. That motorway takes itself away. Then I'm going to pivot all these greens here and take the greens from here, put them directly into there solo in a segregated pattern, which hopefully fits my issue with purples will take off less greens. And here we are. Cut this green all the way off. Probably move this traffic signal as well. Okay, the whites in there are getting a little bit erratic as well too. So just add all of these guys here. Actually, I should be able to fit a roundabout there. That hopefully helps some of this. If not, it's going to backfire and my game will be over. And you know what? I don't have another bridge. I'll hope another one will come up. Traffic lighting roundabouts. Yep. Getting to that point in the game where I need to be saved and no help is coming. I may, let's see, maybe it'll help myself just a tad bit here. Moving it just a little bit out. Hopefully I won't regret the decision. Sometimes breaking routes off so that only a few items can make it can make it there helps, but this will take time to see the results of. But I will flip this one here over there. See, that leaves it just enough to keep itself stabilized. And when you need it most, sometimes it comes through with a motorway. Now, let's see which route may actually need this more than others. Alright, an idea here that I saw a little earlier. Take that out of that way. And just basically takes it to the point where these greens here are just there for show. I'll leave that there for when I actually need to use that aspect. But now hopefully these blues can catch some speed, some escape velocity. And also cut off these whites so they're not going through. I may have done that too late, but let's hope I saved myself. And oh, I see the problem here as well too. Well, let's just one white. Should not be too much of a problem. Just want to be able to get this where I need that to be. See if I could just almost speed up the process here. Yeah, things are getting bad out here. Things are getting bad. Let's see. Oh, don't want to delete. What is currently happening? Let me see. Okay, there we go. That's why. Let's hope and pray. Maybe too late. Well, that's that on that. Let's see where I ended up at. Top 4%. So let me go edit this video, send it out to you guys. Hopefully you guys got some help from this. I tried my best. Top 4%, so I guess I'm doing a decent amount of this right. But that map was pretty difficult. Interesting. This is my first time playing through it. I will say that one thing that helps get high scores is doing a map a few times in a row. Get yourself familiar with it, knowing where things and how things pop up. I mean, I think some of my locations may have been just a little, you know, tough spots because sometimes to get a high score, you just need a little bit of luck. I felt a little bit unlucky this time, but I think you guys may be able to look and view techniques that I use and applied and be able to figure some things out for yourselves. Help you guys be able to post good scores that you can get a lot of upvotes on this Reddit. I'm OG Smurf 826. If you watched it, I appreciate it.